I remember when I was 8 and I was introduced to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by the 2012 Nickelodeon show. Right at first, I've related to Leonardo, and not just because the color of his bandana and his weapon were the best, but also by his fascinating character that molded who I wanted to be. The Turtle Brothers passed through many dangers and very hard times in this show, and we are also in such difficult times. The true Christianity have been badly attacked, and that's why we're in need of strong leaders. Leaders like Leonardo turned to be. Leo was just a normal young boy. Well, except the fact he was a mutant turtle trained in ninjutsu since his childhood by a rat. He dreamed of being a glorious and brave hero. Sometimes his brothers mocks it, but he keeps dreaming. He seeks for good models to follow, like his sensei or the main character of his favorite show, Space Heroes. By the way, it's really awesome seeing a character that grew up with TV, being inspired by its heroes just like me and many other boys in real life. No matter the reason, the leadership was given to Leo, and this destiny reserved him much more than a youth like him could expect. It was not just glory and honor, it was a responsibility and a burden to carry. Even he being the more responsible of his brothers, there's no way to prepare for leadership, nor avoid some mistakes. In times of distress, that would be many after the Shredder arrives, he should be the pillar that supported him. And although no one is perfect, no other brother could take this task like Leo, and Splinter knew that. It isn't for nothing that Leonardo means strong as a lion or brave as a lion. Initially, his greatest difficulty was leading his brothers, even without their acknowledgement. It was common for his team to disobey him, and even mock his efforts to make the best decisions. And it is very difficult to take care of people like that. Leo begins to question himself if this was really the burden he wanted. Why put up with all the responsibility and consequences if no one even thanked him? It was much easier to give up and hand the lead over to Raph. But this was catastrophic for the team. Raphael was not a leader and left them in great danger. Splinter reprimanded Leo and immediately sent him to find his brothers and fix his mistakes, in one of the most memorable scenes of the show.
Leonardo, where are your brothers?
I have no idea.
What do you mean you have no idea?
Raph thinks he can lead the team better than me, so I let him.
That is not your decision to make.
Why not, Sensei? I've had to make every other decision, and I'm tired of it. Those guys have no idea what kind of pressure I'm under, and all they do is complain. Is it too much to ask for a simple thank you?
Of course it is. Leadership is not about being appreciated. It is about responsibility. It doesn't matter that the burden is heavy. It matters that you carry it. Now go find your brothers.
Another event of great importance in Leo's history was meeting Karai, the Shredder's adopted daughter, and developing a crush on her. This passion in the beginning hindered him and diverted him from his goals. He had to learn to define his priorities, and his team was more important than Karai. He couldn't let a crush on an enemy let his brothers get hurt. But even after overcoming that, there was still a problem. Karai wasn't really evil. She was actually Splinter's daughter, Miwa, and Shredder was lying to her and manipulating her. Leo couldn't leave it like that. He had to save her. It wasn't a selfish passion anymore, but an honest love. Together with his brothers this time, they convince Karai of the truth and do everything to free her from the Shredder. If you have a crush on someone, don't let it get in the way of your main obligations, and define your priorities well. Because if that passion goes against them, the results can't be good. But if it's a relationship where you both can help each other to fulfill your main goals, so you can get along together, then this passion can evolve into a genuine love. Despite having failed to save Karai, Leo had his heart in the right place now, and he had done everything he could. In episodes where the danger is real bigger and the entire planet is in danger, it is emphasized that Leonardo needs to be brave and take the lead of his brothers. The mission must be accomplished no matter what or who will be lost. If he had to give even his own life for Earth and for his brothers, it should be done. True leaders are always ready to sacrifice for their team if it's necessary. They always put the needs of others above their own. Leo shows us this at the end of Season 1. When the Krang's Technodrome is in self-destruction, and he traps himself in it with the Krang Prime so his brothers can escape. There he showed us that he had the spirit of a true hero. But not everything blossomed. One of the problems that Leo faced in the beginning was the dialogue with his brothers. Sometimes he was not willing to listen to them, and he gave authoritarian orders without talking at first. This always caused problems. For example, in the first episodes, when he ignores Michelangelo's story about the Krang and loses the advantage in the battle. Or at the end of the second season, when a disagreement with Donatello ends up separating him from the rest of the team and having to face all of the Shredder forces alone, a match that would leave him physically and emotionally marked forever. It was after that fight, however, that he became more understanding and democratic with his brothers. From that moment on, situations of extreme danger, such as alien dynasties overwhelming the entire planet, would make, for better or for worse, that Leo and his brothers act like heroes and not like teenagers. In the third season, extremely wounded by his fight with the Shredder, and after a defeat that made him lose all of the New York City to the Krang, Leo deals with the fear of returning and not being strong enough to guide them to victory over such powerful enemies. He had many spiritual and physical challenges to overcome, rescuing Karai, leading his frightened brothers, saving Splinter and protecting all of New York. Leo's burden seemed to get bigger and bigger and bigger. He had to get stronger, endure more, and he could not fail. Seems like a lot for a teenager, but no one but him could handle it. Splinter well advised him.
Leonardo, you must be the leader in body and spirit. Be like the wind. Let nothing weigh you down.
But no wave would be more oppressive than losing the Earth and seeing his world and everything he loved destroyed. A race of aliens called the Triceratons hated the Krang, but was even worse than they were, and aimed to destroy the Earth as it was just a Krang hideout in their eyes. In addition to being extremely strong, the Triceratons had an invincible weapon, the Heart of Darkness, a black hole generator. Leonardo and his brothers did everything they could, but they could not save their planet, and they saw all of their friends die. They, however, together with Casey and April, received a second chance, being saved by the Fugitype, a mysterious robot who took them off the Earth and used all his technology to go back in time by 6 months, giving their world a final hope. Then they embark on a long adventure through the space, to stop the Triceratons from destroying the Earth this time. It is visible how Leo has matured due to the seriousness of the mission. He is firmer in his decisions, more focused and determined. He is always aware of his duty. He was most affected by the loss of Earth, and he missed Splinter the most, often simulating conversations with his master's hologram. Of all the other battles, this was the one Leo was most afraid of. Failing this mission meant losing everything.
Leonardo, what is it that troubles you so, my son?
Sensei, we've faced defeat before, but we've always managed to fight back and overcome it. This is different. We've got one chance to save the Earth. If we don't get the second piece of the black hole generator, we've lost everything. And it'll be on me.
You must not give in to despair. You all must remain diligent to save the Earth.
But Sensei, what if we can't?
You must hold on to hope. And with that hope, you must lead by example. You are all truly worthy heroes, and no matter what may come, you have all made me very proud.
Hi, Sensei.
But he held on to hope, kept looking forward, and not wavering as he could. So his brothers had an example, someone to motivate them to move forward. So they fought. They fought to the end. And with the help of the Fugitype, who sacrificed himself by being destroyed along with the Heart of Darkness, the Triceratons' plan was thwarted. The Earth was safe. Leo could finally rest. But not for long. Other dangers would soon reveal themselves. For after a violent defeat, the Shredder hid in a forest and began to inject himself with doses of the ooze, which when perfected, strengthened his body, making him immeasurably powerful. The greatest enemy that the brothers faced in life, the Super Shredder, who was now a monster, inside and out. At first, Splinter helps the Turtles to face this devilish enemy, but he was eventually defeated. Orokusaki ruthlessly killed Hamato Yoshi, who was once his brother. Our heroes lost their father, and Leonardo was left helpless, impotent, and unable to continue leading without his father and sensei. Splinter, despite being dead, had achieved peace and returned to motivate Leonardo, who still had to fulfill his role in this history, to lead his brothers to victory, and put an end to Shredder's empire of darkness.
Leonardo, fear nothing.
These were Splinter's last words to his son. In the final clash against the enemy, Leo ended up alone, as all his brothers were knocked off the roof where they were fighting. Only Leo and no one else could finish the enemy. He had to finish what no one else has been capable of. All his training, development, and growth so far had to be put on. He had to be ready. There was no room for fear, trepidation, or distrust. He had to do what had to be done. Courage, fearlessness, strength, and honor for his father, for his brothers, for Karai. The Shredder had to end. Leo let all his faults and anxieties wash over him, like water over rock. Like a true ninja, he overcame his enemy, and once and for all, Shredder was finished. And after fulfilling the mission, Leo returns to his brothers. But he was not the same. He was a man, a ninja, a leader, and a new father for them. He returns to do his duty, lead and care for his family, forever destined to protect the earth. He and his brothers would still fight many battles against evil. Hamato Yoshi was gone, but Hamato Leonardo was there to guide them. Like I said before, just like the turtles, we have gone through very difficult and hostile times. The teachings of the Bible have been challenged, evil ideologies have become popular, and in some countries we have even faced the danger of death, besides other trials. To the church, it's always been like this, and it won't change until Jesus returns. That's why we need strong and firm leaders, great men to lead God's people through the darkest valley. Just as Leo became the leader his family needed, our young men need to develop so that there will be leaders among us. So I'll talk a little about some of the most important marks of a Christian leader. Well, at first, he must be faithful to the gospel and witness it by his life. He stays true to the scriptures and leads by example. He must be open to dialogue and always listen to his subordinates, thinking about the best for everyone. A rightful leader is never self-sufficient or authoritarian. He is always talking to his subordinates, hearing and being heard, and so getting along with them. He must be, more than all others, a great adept of the scriptures, always studying it, knowing more and living according to it. He must dedicate himself to biblical knowledge for himself and for his subordinates. Leo was always the brother who was the most interested in wisdom and in the stories of Master Splinter. Like him, it's important for a leader to be interested in wisdom. And I think we can take this lesson. Our wisdom is the word of God, and our senseis are our pastors. In the scriptures, Paul gives instructions to the young Timothy on the leadership of a church, and the most important part was faithfulness to the gospel, in order to fully understand it, testify it, and preach to the members of the church in Ephesus. And it would take a lot of courage to live steadfastly in this gospel and confront those who attacked it, such as the false teachers who misunderstood the Torah or the immoral people of Ephesus. The firmness to the gospel and the courage to execute it are the most important parts in the life of a Christian leader. He cannot only know the Bible, the consequences and deeds of this knowledge must be also clear in his life. To live by God's word and defend its principles in deed and word, in the face of a world where Satan's power is at work, requires great strength and bravery. Be strong and courageous, as God advises one of the greatest leaders of the Bible, Joshua. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead this people to inherit the land I swore to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Keep this book of law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything right in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord, your God, will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1st, 6-9. Hey bros, thank you for watching so far. I really love this franchise, it's very important to me. It's made my childhood, helping making me the man I am today. And it's still helping to making me a better person. And with this video, I hope it can help you too. Also, I'm so excited for Mutant Mayhem, I hope that movie will be good so I can make a video too, when it comes out. A friend of mine who is a great theologian helped me making this video, so thank you man. He did a great job and helped a lot. He also has a very great theology page on Instagram, so if you speak Portuguese, he's Brazilian, please check it out. This man is great, I recommend. So that's all by now. Thank you again, have a great day and cowabunga!